Good morning, everyone. You're listening to Red Pill 78. I am the Corruption Detector, and this is your Red Pill Morning News Brief for Thursday, December 20th, 2018. First of all, from the Daily Caller, Antifa lady's attorney confused that court isn't treating her like a World War II hero. Look at that hero with her stick. This is her, I believe, punching someone who's holding a protest sign. They were protesting for free speech in Berkeley, and she stated that because they were Nazis, apparently not true, but she said that they were Nazis, and she punched these people. She punched this guy in the stomach, and it's on camera. This guy was assaulted by a group of these Antifa thugs. Antifa activist Yvette Falarka has gone from violently roughing people up on the streets and getting caught on video while doing so to getting figuratively roughed up in the courtroom. Now, according to attorneys, it's concerning that her fight against fascism isn't getting the same recognition as the heroes who fought Nazis during World War II. You gotta be kidding me. Falarka, who faces felony charges of assault and misdemeanor inciting of a riot, was one of 4 charged after a violent protest was caught on video in 2016. California Highway Patrol had recommended charges against 96 others as well, but the district attorney could only find evidence to support charges against 4, 3 anti-fascist protesters and 1 alleged white supremacist. So far, the California middle school teacher has been associated with both Antifa and at least 1 other self-described anti-fascist group known as By Any Means Necessary, or BAM, has presented a litany of litigations aimed at getting her out of trouble. Can anyone imagine this woman teaching your child? Like, how quickly would you pull them out of that school? So, Antifa activist Yvette Falarka has argued that a cover-up involving collusion between fascist protesters and the police had resulted in a political witch hunt that made her a target. She claimed the video evidence against her was unauthenticated. She claimed that the prosecution was racially motivated because all 3 anti-fascists who were charged are not white. She claimed the case is politically motivated and therefore an illegal violation of due process. She claimed to be a target because she is, quote-unquote, the most publicly known opponent of Donald Trump in the state of California. A series of court decisions have not gone Falarka's way. 2 judges so far have failed to dismiss the case against her stemming from the 2016 riot, and in October, a judge dismissed her lawsuit meant to block conservative watchdog group Judicial Watch from obtaining emails regarding her involvement with both Antifa and BAM. And there is a nice clear picture of Ms. Falarka. When Falarka lost that lawsuit against Berkeley Unified School District, the floodgates opened. Records revealed threats and angry phone calls directed at the school district because of Falarka, who was only briefly placed on paid leave after the initial incident in 2016. The most recent hearing, initially set for December 18th, was delayed until January 22nd because Falarka's Michigan-based attorney came down with the flu. The judge's failure to dismiss the case outright led attorney Mark Reichel, who is representing another client, to claim that she and other activists are being unfairly targeted for political reasons. The district attorney is selectively prosecuting people that fought fascists, Reichel said, adding, "We used to call them heroes in World War II." Now, those heroes were dropped off on beaches in Europe and fought real Nazis with real guns and liberated real people. These clowns are doing nothing of the sort. Judge Michael Savage, who refused to dismiss the felony case against Falarka in May, explained, "Simply nothing in these exhibits supports the defendant's claims that they were unjustly or unfairly called out." Sacramento County Deputy District Attorney Paris Coleman also spoke to claims that the prosecution was racially or politically motivated, saying, "No one from my office really cares about the race of the defendants. That's not why they were charged. They are captured on video committing crimes, unfortunately for them." Yes, Antifa and Yvette Falarka, very, very unfortunate for you guys. This has been a long time coming. I have been eagerly anticipating this case because this woman claims to be an anti-fascist, but in my opinion, she is a textbook definition of a fascist. She wants to shut down free speech, she wants to control the way people think, and she wants to force people to take on her views. All right, next, this is a good one, also from the Daily Caller. Democrats ran Russian bot false flag operation in Alabama, and the media fell for it. Democratic operatives created thousands of Twitter accounts posing as Russian bots in order to boost Alabama Democratic Senator Doug Jones in the October 2017 special election by linking his Republican opponent Roy Moore to Russian influence campaigns. The operatives, who were funded by liberal billionaire Reid Hoffman independently of Jones' campaign, created more than 1,000 Russian-language accounts that followed Moore's Twitter account overnight. Wow! The New York Times reported Wednesday evening. Hoffman gave the operatives $100,000 for their project, which included creating fake conservative Facebook accounts to dissuade voters from supporting Moore, according to the Times. We orchestrated an elaborate false flag operation that planted the idea that the Moore campaign was amplified on social media by a Russian botnet, the operatives recounted in an initial report obtained by the Times. Media outlets both in Alabama and nationally fell for the ploy and amplified the false narrative in October 2017. Wow, look at this. Roy Moore just picked up a whole bunch of Twitter followers, but they ain't from around here, comrade. This is so transparent. The Montgomery Advisor, an Alabama affiliate of USA Today, was the first to run with the story. Brian Lyman, the reporter on that story, did not immediately return the Daily Caller News Foundation's request for comment. National media outlets quickly seized upon Lyman's story. Roy Moore flooded with fake Russian Twitter followers, read the headline on the New York Post story, which cited the advertiser. Left-wing politician Mother Jones cited the same story in a report titled, "Russian Propagandists Are Pushing for Roy Moore to Win." That report didn't rely exclusively on the fake Twitter followers, citing Russian media's favorable coverage of Moore. The Washington Post focused its story on the fact that Moore blamed Democrats for the fake accounts. Dave Weigel, not a good journalist, Roy Moore's campaign suggested that Doug Jones and Democratic operatives are behind the surge of Russian bot followers, and they were. And this is a quote from Roy Moore. However, we would like to point out an interesting coincidence. Before we were able to even begin to review and take action on this matter, we were receiving press calls first thing this Monday morning asking about our surge in Russian followers. We highly doubt that reporters across the country spend most of their free time on Sunday breaking away from church, family, and football to review the Twitter followers of various candidates across the country. It is more likely that Doug Jones and Democrat operatives are pulling a political stunt on Twitter and alerting their friends in the media. It's not surprising that they choose the favorite topic of MSNBC and the fake news outlets, the Russia conspiracy. Democrats can't win this election on the issues, and their desperation is on full display. Moore was mocked on Twitter at the time for blaming Democrats for the fake followers. Oh, really? That tweet has not aged well, Andrew Feinberg. Matthew Gertz says, this seems totally normal and definitely not shockingly paranoid. Oh, guess what, Matthew Gertz? He was right. Zach Ford says, Roy Moore doesn't know much about journalists, does he? Actually, Zach, we know all about journalists now, so you can stop lying. There we go, guys. So, if they faked the Russian the Russian botnet for Roy Moore, how can they possibly defend themselves against the Russian witch hunt for Donald Trump? It's so obviously a put-on. They are creating these things because they cannot win on the issues. When it comes down to the issues, we are the winners. These people are merely, solely interested in putting forth their own agenda for their own benefit, not that of the American people. And now in the Promises Made, Promises Kept section of today's news brief, we have a special message from President Donald Trump.
We've been fighting for a long time in Syria. I've been president for almost 2 years, and we've really stepped it up. and we have won against ISIS. We've beaten them, and we've beaten them badly. We've taken back the land, and now it's time for our troops to come back home. I get very saddened when I have to write letters or call parents or wives or husbands of soldiers who have been killed fighting for our country. It's a great honor. We cherish them, but it's heartbreaking. There's no question about it. It's heartbreaking. Now we've won. It's time to come back. They're getting ready. You're going to see them soon. These are great American heroes. These are great heroes of the world because they fought for us, but they've killed ISIS, who hurts the world. And we're proud to have done it. And I'll tell you, they're up there looking down on us. And there is nobody happier or more proud of their families to put them in a position where they've done such good for so many people. So our boys, our young women, our men, they're all coming back, and they're coming back now. We won, and that's the way we want it, and that's the way they want it.
Bless you, Donald Trump. Thank you so much for fulfilling your promise to end the war in Syria, and you've done it the right way. Reporting from the BBC, Syria conflict, U.S. officials withdraw troops after IS defeat. The Pentagon said it was transitioning to the next phase of the campaign, but did not give details. Some 2,000 troops have helped rid much of northeastern Syria of IS, but pockets of fighters remain. It had been thought defense officials wanted to maintain a U.S. presence to ensure IS did not rebuild. There are also fears of U.S. withdrawal will cede influence in Syria and the wider region to Russia and Iran. Both the Pentagon and the White House statement said the U.S. had started returning United States troops home as we transition to the next phase of this campaign. The Pentagon said it would not provide further details of what the next phase is for force protection and operational security reasons. The White House said the U.S. and its allies stood ready to re-engage at all levels to defend American interests whenever necessary, and we will continue to work together to deny radical Islamist terrorists territory, funding, support, and any means of infiltrating our borders. President Trump said it was time to bring troops home after their historic victories. What has been the reaction? Israel said it had been told the U.S. had other ways to have influence in the area, but would study the timeline of the withdrawal, how it will be done, and of course the implications for us. Russia's foreign ministry spokeswoman, Maria Zakharova, said on state-controlled Channel 1 TV that the U.S. decision could result in genuine, real prospects for a political settlement in Syria. Pulling troops out of Syria had long been promised by President Trump, but the announcement may have taken some of his own officials by surprise. Last week, Brett McGurk, special presidential envoy for the global coalition to defeat IS, told reporters at the State Department nobody is saying that IS fighters are going to disappear. Nobody is that naive, so we want to stay on the ground and make sure that stability can be maintained in these areas. The State Department abruptly canceled Wednesday's daily briefing after withdrawal was announced. One of Mr. Trump's supporters, Republican Senator Lindsey Graham, who sits on the Armed Services Committee, called it a huge Obama-like mistake. In a series of tweets, he said IS was not defeated and warned withdrawing U.S. troops put our allies, the Kurds, at risk. Turkey this week said it was preparing to launch an operation against a Kurdish militia in northern Syria, which has been an ally of the U.S. in its fight against IS. A UK government spokesperson said these developments do not signal the end of the global coalition or its campaign against IS, and the UK will remain committed to ensure IS enduring defeat. Much remains to be done, and we must not lose sight of the threat they pose, the UK statement said. As the situation on the ground develops, we will continue to discuss how we achieve these aims with our coalition partners, including the U.S. And now I just want to bring your attention to the last Q post from yesterday. D-Day, Patriots. We will have our country back. D. So D-Day, this is like D-Day Part 2, maybe. We defeated the Nazis. Now we've defeated ISIS. Does D stand for Donald Trump? Q plus is certainly Donald Trump. So very, very good news. I'm sure that many people are going to be extremely excited to see their loved ones coming home from Syria. And more news from the world of the dirty dossier. Paul Ryan aide and Representative Adam Kinzinger were early recipients of Steele dossier, documents say. A federal judge on Wednesday revealed just how widely Christopher Steele distributed his infamous anti-Trump dossier. Representative Adam Kinzinger and Paul Ryan Chief of Staff Jonathan Burks received Steele's reports in December 2016, before BuzzFeed would publish the dossier in full. Court documents say that Steele gave the dossier materials to Kinzinger and Burks, though Paul Ryan's office claims that Burks has never met Steele and did not receive documents directly from the former British spy. A Republican lawmaker and the chief of staff to House Speaker Paul Ryan were early recipients of the infamous Steele dossier, according to a court memo released Wednesday as part of BuzzFeed's dossier-related lawsuit. The judge handling the case filed a document that stated that Christopher Steele, the dossier author, provided at least one memo from the dossier to Illinois Rep. Adam Kinzinger and Jonathan Burks, a longtime Ryan aide. Steele gave Report 166 to Kramer, an unnamed British security official, Ms. Wallander at the NSC, Representative Adam Kinzinger, and House Speaker Paul Ryan's Chief of Staff, John Burks, wrote Judge Ursula Ungaro, who ruled in favor of BuzzFeed in a defamation lawsuit filed by a Russian businessman identified in Report 166, which Steele produced on December 13, 2016. That report, which is one of 17 written by Steele, accused Russian businessman Alexei Gubarov of using his companies to hack Democrats' computer systems during the 2016 campaign. Gubarov vehemently denied the allegations and sued BuzzFeed for defamation, claiming that the website failed to investigate Steele's claims. Ungaro noted in her filing Wednesday that BuzzFeed did not reach out to Gubarov prior to its publication of the dossier in January 10, 2017. The website apologized to Gubarov and redacted his name from its report after the Russians sued. The Kramer referred to in Ungaro's memo is David Kramer, a former State Department official and longtime associate of late Senator John McCain, who provided a copy of the dossier to BuzzFeed. Wallander is Celeste Wallander, the Obama National Security Council's top official on Russian-related matters. Though Ungaro wrote that Steele provided Burks and the others with parts of the dossier, a spokeswoman for Ryan's office said that Burks never met Steele and did not receive information directly from the former British spy. Burks has never met Christopher Steele nor received any document directly from him. However, he was aware of and had read the dossier prior to its publication, Ashley Strong told the Daily Caller News Foundation. She did not respond to follow-up questions about how Burks obtained the report, whether he disseminated it, and whether Ryan knew he had received the document. Kinzinger's office did not respond to a request for comment. Ungaro's filing shows just how widely the dossier was disseminated prior to BuzzFeed's decision to publish the document. It was not previously publicly known that Steele gave his reports to Wallander. It was also not known, as Ungaro revealed, that Kramer shared the dossier with numerous reporters in addition to BuzzFeed and Obama State Department official Victoria Nuland. Gubarov's legal actions also led to revelations that Steele and the firm had hired him. Fusion GPS met with numerous reporters during the 2016 campaign. Steele was forced to reveal in London, where he is being sued by Gubarov, that he and Fusion GPS co-founder Glenn Simpson briefed reporters from the New York Times, The Washington Post, The New Yorker, Yahoo News, and Mother Jones. Yahoo and Mother Jones published articles based on Steele's unverified information prior to the election. Yes, it just goes to show that the swamp is deep and President Trump still has many, many enemies. Another from the Daily Caller, John McCain associate gave dossier to BuzzFeed. Songbird McCain. A longtime associate of late Republican Arizona Senator John McCain provided a copy of the infamous Steele dossier to BuzzFeed News, according to an explosive court filing released Wednesday. David Kramer, a former State Department official who was an executive at the McCain Institute, met on December 29, 2016 with BuzzFeed reporter Ken Bensinger, according to a filing submitted Wednesday by U.S. District Court Judge Ursula Ungaro. BuzzFeed published the dossier, which was authored by former British spy Christopher Steele on January 10, 2017. The disclosure was made as part of a final report ahead of Ungaro's ruling in favor of BuzzFeed in a defamation lawsuit. The revelation that Kramer was BuzzFeed's source settles one of the main mysteries of the dossier, which alleges a vast conspiracy between the Trump campaign and Russian government to influence the 2016 election. According to Ungaro, BuzzFeed and Kramer dispute how Bensinger obtained a copy of the dossier. The parties dispute whether Kramer gave Bensinger a copy or whether Bensinger took photos of the dossier when Kramer was not looking, reads a footnote in Ungaro's filing. Kramer testified that Bensinger took photos of the dossier when Kramer was out of the room, even though he asked Bensinger not to. Excuse me, I've got to go to the bathroom. I'm just going to leave this Russian dossier right here, and if you could just do me a favor, don't take any pictures of it, don't disseminate it to your friends in the press. Certainly, don't publish it on the front page of BuzzFeed. All right, I'll be right back, wrote Ungaro, adding that in a later declaration, Kramer stated that he had no objection to Bensinger taking a hard copy and had provided hard copies to other journalists. The other journalists Kramer met with are not identified. Kramer obtained copies of the dossier after meeting in late November 2016 with Steele. He and McCain became aware of Steele's investigation of then-candidate Donald Trump earlier that month at the Halifax International Security Forum. McCain dispatched Kramer to London to meet with Steele. After that November 28, 2016 encounter, Kramer obtained a copy of the dossier from Glenn Simpson, the founder of Fusion GPS, the firm that hired Steele on behalf of the Clinton campaign and the DNC. Kramer met November 30th, 2016 with McCain and McCain's chief of staff, Christopher Brose, to review Steele's reports. Kramer advised McCain to share the reports with the FBI and the CIA, according to Ungaro. Days later, Kramer met at McCain's behest with Victoria Nuland, who served then as Assistant Secretary of State for Europe and Eurasian Affairs and the State Department, and Celeste Wallander, the top Russian affairs official at the National Security Council. Nuland and Wallander were aware of the dossier and Steele, according to Ungaro. Kramer reviewed with Bensinger what he knew about the dossier and explained that he took the allegations seriously, according to the court filing. I was looking at Follow Chuck on Twitter. Okay. All right, guys. Well, that about wraps it up for me for right now. I've got to get ready for work. Please take a look at the pinned comment for the links for these stories. Oh, and I wanted to do a couple of follow-ups real quick. Several people have let me know that the location of the photo that Q posted from Antarctica and the location of the two dead researchers in Antarctica is about 800 miles away. And I wasn't stating that I knew that those two incidents were connected. I was just stating that it is very worrisome that those two things happen so close to each other. Are those the same people? I don't know that to be the case. Many people believe that they are not the same people just because of their distance and proximity. But I do know that they have airplanes and they've got means to travel. So until we find out for sure, we don't know. It's all speculation. Most of the stuff I say here, unless it's verified, in a reputable source, it's just me spitballing. I'm just throwing out ideas. And that's why I do it, is so that I can get you guys to talk to me about it in the comments below. And I appreciate the feedback. I appreciate everybody letting me know what they think. Let me think. There was something else that I wanted to touch on, and it's escaping me at this very moment. All right, well, don't forget, everyone, to like, share, and subscribe. If you're interested in helping me with my crusade, I did set up a Patreon. That will also be in the pinned comment. And I hope everyone has a good day. And everyone, enjoy your Thursday afternoon. Bye-bye.